I've experienced really amazing success in my eyes, at least. And then I've also experienced like really horrible failures, but it's always been kind of one or the other. And so I know, like, you know what, that's just what it's going to be. It's either I'm going to go, it's going to be awesome, or it's going to suck, and then it's going to be awesome.
Natalie Zachary, great to get you on the Rebel Agent podcast.
Hi, happy to be here.
You've just joined eXp. Can't wait to talk about that, but maybe you could give a little bit about your background and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, for sure. We have time, right?
We do. Chat as much as you want.
Okay, great. So yes, I'm Natalie Zachary. I'm one of the private client directors with Quintessentially Estates Dubai. Judging from my accent, I'm from Canada. I am half Thai, half Ukrainian, but unfortunately, I only speak English. But so far, it's
So you were raised in Canada?
Yeah, I was raised in Canada, but it's been good so far. I've been in the real estate industry for about 10 years or so. Yeah, from when I started studying, I guess, for my exams until now.
Yeah.
I've worked across 3 different continents, I guess you could say. I've done the Canada market, UK market. I'm out here doing Dubai, but I've also traveled quite a bit. So I spent some time in the US last year as well, working with investors. And
fantastic.
Yeah, I would say my main niche is working with international clients, portfolio management. And
so when you were in the US, were you working on Canadian property? Were you selling that then?
No, it was actually for Dubai.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So I went out in the US and I was doing roadshows. It was the first time I've ever experienced doing roadshows. I thought it was going to be something that was like really fun, exciting, new, cool. Why not? Let's just go out there. It was so hard. It was so challenging. It was so different, but it was probably one of, I would say, the most life-changing, or not life-changing, one of the most career-changing things I got to experience, because I really learned what it was like to work with international clients. And I definitely recommend, if anyone is wanting to try a roadshow, the only way you're going to know is if you just
throw yourself in.
Totally
agree. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to hearing all about that. But let's just go back to Canada. What did you study after uni?
Yeah.
Or at uni, sorry.
Yeah. So basically what I did was, it's funny how I even kind of got there. So real estate was something that kind of fell into my lap. And I went to the University of British Columbia, Sauder School of Business, and I wrote the exam and did it for residential trading. But when my interest actually peaked into getting into real estate, it wasn't something that I was really passionate for at the beginning. Like I said, it just kind of fell in my lap. But yeah, so it was...
Because was your grandmother involved?
Yes, she was, my sweet Baba. So I mentioned that I'm Thai and Ukrainian. So my grandmother, she's on the Ukrainian side. And her story is just like incredible.
And she's still with us today,
She's 101.
Wow.
Yeah, she's 101. And she celebrated that actually this year in January. She was a huge realtor back in the day. Huge. Like, she definitely is part of the inspiration as to why I wanted to go write the exam. But yeah, it's just incredible. So she actually came from the war and she got planted with the Red Cross in Toronto, literally on a tobacco field, okay? Made her way to the other side of Canada and then started getting into real estate. And I think it was just one of those things where right place, right time, an emerging market.
Yeah.
Right. When she went to Canada, she was living in Toronto, then she moved to Vancouver Island, a city called Victoria, BC. Now, Victoria, BC was kind of like this new community that was coming up, and she was one of the first brokers to get a piece of it. Right. And she just exploded.
Brilliant timing. And obviously she took advantage of that.
Yeah.
So what an inspiration for you.
Yeah. It's really cool.
But you didn't initially work with her in real estate, did you? So where did...
I wish.
So who did you start with in Canada?
Yeah, so it was actually Sotheby's.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
big name.
A big name. But I didn't just walk through the doors and get to hang my license up there. Like, I had to fight for it. So I remember when I was trying to figure out, okay, where do I want to work? Where do I want to be? And I saw Sotheby's. I was like, oh, Sotheby's is this is the ultra luxury. These guys are number one. I want to be with them. So I started researching it and asking, okay, how can I be with Sotheby's? Oh, sorry, you need to have a track record. You've got to have this, that. And I thought, oh, okay, that's not going to work, right? So what had ended up happening was I had an opportunity where there was a piece of land that was going to get developed into like 30, 40 homes. Or no, sorry, 13, 14 homes. Parcels. Okay, that's what it was. A good chunk, right? But the area that it was located in was like super rare for what it was. It would be like, for example, if you could find, I don't know, a 20 parcel piece of land in the middle of Business Bay for residential homes. Like it's just, or maybe downtown even. So it was super rare. It was really cool.
And how did you find it?
So this actually came through my family. Yeah, so this came through my family, and because this is the area that we live in, was on this road. So anyways, I went to Sotheby's, and I said, hey, listen, I've got access to this, and I'm going to sell this, and I'm going to put Sotheby's name on all of those, those plots.
Brilliant.
So what do you say? And the director, I remember he just kind of looked at me and he didn't say anything. And I thought, oh, no, he's not going to. And he was like, yeah, let us know when you've got your license. Let's get it going. Let's do it. And so that's how I started at Sotheby's.
That's brilliant, because showing that sort of initiative, I can imagine from his position, why would he not take you on?
Yeah.
Well done. I think that's amazing. How long were you there with Sotheby's in Canada?
So I was with Sotheby's in Canada for a couple of years.
Good experience.
Yes, and it was good. It was a really good experience. Actually, my first sale that I ever did was from an Instagram DM.
Really?
Yeah.
Back then?
And I'm still friends with that client now.
Yeah, the power of social media, which is another thing we'll get into.
It's crazy too, because that would have been like 2019, somewhere around this, I think.
Early days.
Instagram wasn't really like crazy used for real estate. Obviously, it was starting to like come up and people were branding themselves, but not as much. So the fact that I was able to even like achieve that was awesome. It was so cool. And so, yeah, that was really interesting.
Yeah, so you did a couple of years there, and then what happened after that?
So I dove into real estate, but like I said earlier, real estate was always not the number one thing that I had kind of strived that I wanted to do and build my career off of. Before that, because I moved out at a really young age, I was like 15 years old.
Really?
Yes, I was 15. And I can't sell houses at 15, right? That's obviously not going to
You can win
work.
beauty competitions.
Pardon, sorry?
You can win beauty competitions.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. That is something.
What were you, Miss Teen Canada?
Yeah, so I did Miss Teen Canada 2012. Yeah, that was a crazy ride. So what had happened was I moved out of my house. I was like barely 15. And then I think it was the year after I got approached just from someone on social media, actually on Facebook. They found me and they're like, do you want to come and do Miss Canada Globe Productions, Miss Teen Canada? And I thought, that sounds cool. I'd love to. Like, I've just moved out. Why not? Let's do it. So I went off and did that. But then after I had done that, I kind of dove into all this beauty stuff. And because I was living on my own, like I said, I can't sell real estate. I needed to figure out what am I going to do for work. So I ended up working in beauty salons. And then eventually the beauty salon, I was working in the salon. I took all the clients into my house because I realized, wait a sec, why am I giving you 50% commission? Yeah. I can just pay this and I'll get 100. Perfect.
Build up the database first and then do it on your own premises.
Yeah, exactly. So what happened was I kept doing that. And then I got my real estate license, sold some houses. And I said, you know what? I want to open a beauty salon. I want to have my own. This is what I want. So that's what I actually had done right when I had got my license. So I was doing real estate, but then I also had opened my first storefront.
You're a hard worker, aren't you?
It was so crazy. And yeah, so that's kind of like the beginning of what happened in my real estate career.
Yeah. So let's just do a little bit more on the salon.
Yeah.
How long did you have that for?
A couple of years. Yeah. Unfortunately, what had happened was I got the bitter end of COVID.
Yeah. You're not the first guest I've had on who's been in the beauty industry and COVID's caused problems. It
was
But
beautiful.
you've done it, haven't you? And you've got that experience. And
yes. Would I ever do another business like that again? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. It was a good experience. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it was successful. Like, I remember our second year, we got like top number 2 or something, best salon in all of the city. So that was really cool. Everyone knew what my shop was. Like, it was amazing. But what had happened was I had opened the store, and then boom, 6 months later, COVID.
Yeah.
Right. And then after that, the government in Canada, they just were not.
They were pretty strict, weren't they?
They were not the best at taking care of the small business owners. Sure. Right. So then I really felt it. But it was okay because I ended up reviving the business. And then once the business was good, I thought, I kind of want to go to London and I want to see what's over there.
Yeah.
So that store actually was a blessing, and it helped me push myself to go to London.
And you got some real estate experience in Canada at that stage?
Yes. Yeah. I wouldn't say as intensely as I did when I left Canada and went to London, but it was such a good base. Like, it was a really good base.
Yeah. So you're in London, and again, you're with Sotheby's, is that right?
Yes. Yeah. So I went to London. Actually, London was supposed to be a holiday. I had a friend that was moving there herself, and she said, do you want to go to London? I thought, yeah, I have the store. My store's doing great, and my business is fine. Like, I can afford to go to London and, for a summer, 2-3 months, not work. Why not? And then later I started researching about London Sotheby's and the market there and what was happening. And I kind of wanted to really dive back into real estate, like full time. And so I thought, maybe I should go do it there.
Yeah.
So then my round trip ticket turned into a one-way ticket, and I just moved.
And what did you think of London? How did it differ?
I remember, so I had never actually moved to London, visited London when I went there. It was like my first time, okay? But I had always had this idea of how cool it would be. And I remember coming out, and I was in Canary Wharf. And like where I live, the buildings are not, super tall or anything. They're not nothing crazy. Architecture's whatever. And so when I came up to Canary Wharf, I remember looking up and seeing, I think I was in Canada Square, and just seeing all the buildings and how new and cool everything was. And I almost cried.
Really?
Yeah, I almost cried.
Made you emotional.
It did, because I was just in awe. I couldn't believe it. I thought it was so incredible that I went from this tiny little island, and now I'm standing, this is my home.
Yeah. And what a contrast.
It was so amazing. And yeah.
Did you not feel homesick though, after a little while?
Yes.
I suppose leaving home so young, that helps harden you, does it?
Yeah, like my whole life, I've had to do life by myself.
Yeah, you're a tough cookie, aren't you?
I haven't really had a choice. Like, of course, I still had like connections with my family. I had friends. I had, relationships, whatever. But for the majority, everything I did, it's like if I had to consult with someone, I was consulting with myself first. And I had to make the final decision myself first. So going to this new country, it's like, well, you've already done it. You've been doing it. So yeah.
Yeah. So how long were you in London?
I was in London for almost 2 years.
Always doing the real estate for Sotheby's?
Always doing the real estate for Sotheby's. Yeah.
So were you selling, you were right, it was secondary market, it was ready now property predominantly?
Yeah, a little bit. I was mainly secondary, but actually the last deals that I did before I left London was off plan in Canary Wharf, funny enough. Again, a lot of my clients were international clients, and that also just kind of fell in my lap. But how I stuck into Sotheby's and actually got started there was, I remember coming into the office, and I was talking with the director, and he said, okay, we'd love to take you on. No problem. Like, do you got a clientele? Like, what, you're coming from Sotheby's in Canada. Okay, great. But what do you got?
Yeah.
And I remember being like, I don't have anything. Like, I don't even know how the market works here. What am I going to do?
Yeah, real estate's so different in the UK, isn't it?
So different. But I was fresh. So I thought, okay, how could I do this? What do I know how to do? I'm like, you know what? I know how to make phone calls. Yep. I know how to talk to people. I'm not crazy amazing at sales at this point, right? Like, I'm not like some crazy psychologist that can figure out how to close all these clients, but I'm very personable. I'm good on the phone, and I know I can make something work. So I remember saying to the director, well, do you have a database? And he's like, what do you mean? Like a database of like old leads or clients or something. And at the time, this Sotheby's maybe had like 8 other people, and all these people were kind of, I don't know, they weren't crazy like smashing it on the phones. They would kind of do their thing, but it's a little bit more slower paced, right? So he said, yeah, we have this data, and actually no one calls it. And I said, okay, can I see it? And it's like, endless amounts. I said, okay, give me 30 pages to start, 30, 40 pages, whatever. And I locked myself in the Sotheby's basement for 2 weeks.
So had you got a contract at this stage?
Yes, I got a contract.
Okay.
Yeah, because I told them, I said, this is my plan. Give me the data. I'm going to call the data.
Yeah.
Right? Let me just power through it and see.
And that was good enough for them to start off with you and give it a go.
I was hungry.
Yeah.
Right? And the contract that I agreed with them as well was not to be, like in the UK, you're kind of an employee when you're a broker.
Yep.
Right? But I said, no, what do I get if I'm commission only? And they're like, oh, you'll get this, which was much higher because I knew, okay.
What percentage was it?
So I think what they were offering me was like the salary would have been like £2,000 plus like 10% commission.
2,000 a month.
Yes, pounds a month plus 10% commission.
Yeah.
But
bit rubbish, really.
no, I don't think it was even 10%. I think it might have been less. It just wasn't great. It wasn't great, right? And then, or I could do 30% commission.
Actually, for the UK, that's not too bad, is it? I mean, by Dubai standards, that's poor, but...
Right. Yeah. I think it was, I don't know. I think Foxtons and Savills were probably doing the same structure. I know this was Sotheby's.
Yeah.
So I kind of expected it to be, but it was what it was. So then they said, okay, here's the commission, and it was 30%. And I thought, done, I'll take that. Right? Because that's uncapped.
Yeah.
Like, yes, it's not the greatest, but it's uncapped.
Just give me that database.
Just give me that database. So go down to the basement, in the basement, making the calls. I don't know anything either. I'm just like, hi, are you still wanting to buy property in the market? Are you from America? I'm like, no, I'm Canadian. And it was enough to hook people.
Yeah.
After the 2 weeks, I walked away with 30 buyers that said, yeah, I'm still interested. Yes.
Oh, well done.
Thank you. Out of the 30, I was able to close, I think, how many deals from that database? I think maybe I did like 5 or 6 deals from that database, and then the rest was just momentum later on.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and then there was still a bunch more that I didn't, was not able to power through, but I got so caught up with everything.
Yeah. How did you feel?
It was funny because you have to remember, I was coming from Canada, right, where there was kind of a similar structure where I had data to call through, but not the same. And also a lot of the stuff in Canada was like referral people that I knew, right? So when I came here, I kind of thought, oh, London's just super hot. Yeah. Great. And actually, when I was there, the market was not doing the best. Like there was limited stock. Things were really slow. Brokers were
in London.
Yeah, they were like, oh, we're like not doing well right now. And I go to my director and I'm like, hey, so I pulled out 30 people. And he's like, what?
He must have loved you.
He was like, what? He's like, well, okay, great. Like, great, amazing. Yeah.
Because you're bringing the Canadian or American attitude to the UK, aren't you? And if the competition, and your competition's other brokers, whether that's internal or external, and if you're doing something very different, which you were, I can see, and with your attitude and the way you come across, I can really see how that worked.
It was good because I would just, like I said, I spent 2 weeks, which is not a crazy amount of time to do the calls, but I was calling. Like I was calling like I had a pound left in my bank account, like
you were hungry.
I wanted to make it work. And I just remember some of the calls, like people would always say like, oh, it's really refreshing to hear someone else. Like I've never had a Canadian call me about real estate in
Something
London.
Different, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so where did it develop from there? You settled into a more traditional sort of role after hitting the phones for a while? Or?
So what had happened, which was really interesting, was the first deal that I actually closed that came from that list was this South Korean billionaire. And it ended up, I remember he was interested in a property. It was all being done through the PA. So I kind of thought, maybe this is fake. Maybe it's not a real buyer. It just seemed, I didn't know. And he had an amazing budget. I found him something in Holland Park. Now, Holland Park, the price tag was 25 million pounds. Okay. We probably spent a month or so, and I walked the guy down. I can't remember if it was like 18 and a half or 18 million pounds, but we ended up closing that.
Well
and
done.
That was my first deal.
Fantastic.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
That was crazy. Yeah. And slowly after that, that's when all the momentum started to come. And I remember one day I was like looking at the spreadsheet. They had like an Excel spreadsheet. And so maybe accumulatively, like the value of my properties wasn't the most, but I had a lot of transactions that were going. I had at least like 1 or 2 deals that were flying in every month. So,
and what does your colleagues think? How did they react to you?
I think you know this in the real estate industry. It does not matter what country, what city, what brokerage you go to. There's always going to be people that get a little funny. And I would say, like, I knew that I tried to keep it really quiet, but it was hard when it was kind of thrown in everyone's face, right? Like the numbers are there on the
You're
board.
a real disruptor, aren't you?
Yeah, and I would come to the office like this, my tattoos out. I didn't care. And this is some beautiful office in Ebury Street in Belgravia. This is not formal. Right?
But it helps you stand out, doesn't it? Not everyone's going to like it, but it is going to help you stand out.
Yeah. Like when I had clients, I would cover up. I would for sure cover up just to be respectful. You know, I don't know how some people feel about it. But for the majority, when I would go look at these properties for my clients or go vet them, or if I went to an open house, whatever it is, I didn't care. I just didn't care.
Yeah.
And I could see that some of the brokers were kind of thinking like, what's going on here? Like,
but you got the confidence to pull that off. And I was chatting to a guy at eXp the other day, and he goes around in jeans and t-shirt all the time.
Yeah.
And he said the clients know I'm very comfortable like this, and they're comfortable with that, so it works.
Yeah,
you know?
Totally.
Yeah,
totally.
So you did this for a couple of years in London.
Mm-hmm.
Should we move on to Dubai then? What made you think about Dubai?
Well, there's one last, I guess you could say, exciting thing that did come from
tell me.
the cold calls or whatever. So after the cold calls and that crazy big deal, whatever, I got approached by one of the producers at Channel 4, and they were doing a show called Britain's Most Expensive Houses.
One of the top channels in the UK, Channel 4, isn't it?
Yeah. I didn't know either. I'm like, oh, it was Channel 4. Okay, cool. And then I saw, Britain's Most Expensive Houses, and she was so sweet. She was like, Natalie, look, I know you're doing some cool stuff right now, and we are doing season 2. Would you like to be, filmed for season 2? Do you want to come on it? And
I want to come on it?
I was like, yes, I would love to. And so I spent that entire summer filming season 2.
Brilliant.
On that show.
I've got to watch this. We'll put a link. You're going to send me a link, aren't you? And I'll put it in the description so people see.
Yeah.
Fantastic. How long?
I still haven't watched all the episodes.
No, I know what you mean, but I don't watch any of this. But, yeah, brilliant. But so did other people contact you off the back of that? How beneficial was that being a TV star?
Yeah, so what had happened was after I actually had left the UK and then it had aired. So I got really good traction on like LinkedIn and online, but a lot of people requesting for, the UK, a lot of local people, of course, some international. And so that was nice. And then I also did have it was a publication that reached out as well. They wrote this beautiful article, but I had explained to them, listen, if we do this article, yes, I was in the UK, but now I'm in Dubai.
Right.
So let's talk about Dubai.
Yeah. So it was great exposure for you on that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really awesome.
Yeah.
It was really awesome.
So which year are we in now when you're moving over to Dubai?
So this would have been, I think it was like end of 2022.
Yeah.
End of 2022, beginning of 2023, something like this.
Yeah. So how does that work out? Had you visited Dubai before? What made you decide, right, Dubai is for me?
Yeah, no, actually I didn't. I did.
Same as going to London.
Yeah. I just, my whole life, I have always been like this. Like, rolled
if it feels right then.
Yeah, because I don't know, I guess for someone that has experienced, like don't get me wrong, I've experienced really amazing success in my eyes at least, and then I've also experienced like really horrible failures, but it's always been kind of one or the other. And so I know, like, you know what, that's just what it's going to be. It's either I'm going to go, it's going to be awesome, or it's going to suck, and then it's going to be awesome. So
great attitude.
Right? I just knew it was something like this. So I thought, okay, let's go to Dubai. But how I ended up in Dubai was kind of an interesting story.
Relationship? Or?
Yeah, parts of it. But I was doing really well in the London market, right? So I didn't really have a reason to leave. Like there wasn't something that's super significant. But I remember my clients, they started talking about Dubai. right? They started
makes complete sense.
And they started investing in Dubai. And I thought, okay, what's going on? Like, what's happening here? Obviously, you guys have more experience in the London market. You've been investing here for years before me, but now all of a sudden you're switching and you're moving over to Dubai. Like, what's happening? So I started doing some research through there. It seemed really interesting at the time. My partner, he was deciding that he wanted to go there. So I thought, okay.
Was he in real estate?
No, he wasn't. But it was just the little things that inspired me to maybe make the move over, right? So the market was hot. Clients liked it. I had like a nice, comfortable way to go. Why not? Let's try it. Let's see what happens. And so it just kind of transformed that way. And I said, okay, I'm going to, leave the UK and go there. But I still wasn't 100% sold until this certain situation happened.
Mm-hmm. Certain situation.
So what had happened was when I was in the UK, I used LinkedIn quite a bit just to try to connect and meet with people. And I remember I connected with, it was like a private family office guy. He was in commercial. That's what he was doing. And he wasn't a big flashy guy, but after like researching and seeing who he was, like this guy handled a crazy amount of funds. Okay. And I contacted him and said, hey, let's chat. I don't know if we have any synergies. Let's just have a chat. So I had went to go and meet him. And unfortunately, as a woman in real estate, this is just something that you're going to face at some point. I experienced it in Canada, experienced it in the UK, experience it here with clients that don't even live here. Like, it's just something that happens. Anyways, long story short, he tried to make a move on me. And I was shocked because this was a very professional conversation and it just happened out of nowhere. And I remember I just pushed back, grabbed all my things that I was going to leave, and he stopped me. He actually stopped me and he looked me in the eyes and I'll never forget this. He said, if you ever want to make it in this city or just ever make it in real estate, you need to do whatever it takes.
Yeah, terrible, isn't it?
That's what he said. He's like, you're never going to make it. I promise you, you're never going to make it, because the women that do whatever it takes, those are the ones that are there at the very, very top. Yeah. And it just was like such a gross feeling.
This is early days of being in Dubai.
So, no, this was still in London.
Oh, sorry.
So that was the reason why I then went, you know what? It's not that he not inspired me, but I thought, screw this guy.
Yeah.
Dubai.
So hold on. Did you say he stopped you?
Yeah,
presumably
he stopped me.
You got out. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, I did. I did. I left. I got up. I left, and yeah, unfortunately, I still remember his first and last name.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. And
horrible situation.
It's horrible, but I think what I've learned, it's because of situations like that, I kind of understand the cues when maybe something might be going.
Yeah, you get wise to it.
Totally. And now that I've sat there, I'm like, oh, you were saying something that was a little bit odd, or and I understand it a lot better. So I'm happy that those situations have happened.
Yeah.
They are good.
Yeah. Well, at least you've got the experience sort of done, haven't you? And as you say, you're picking up the social cues now. And
totally. Yeah.
So you were still in London at this stage. Yeah. And was that part of the reason that you?
Yeah, it was like accumulation of everything. Yeah. I don't know. I'm like really delusional for the universe. And so I felt like
Great
the universe.
Line.
Yeah. And I felt the universe was like, okay, here, like you've got this, and mixed with the, like, let's just pull the lever and see what happens.
Yeah. So was it a one-way ticket to eXp?
It was. Yeah. It was a one-way ticket to Dubai.
Yeah. And obviously you've got savings, hadn't you, from London? You've been successful there. Yeah. So where did you start off real estate wise? Which agency in Dubai?
Yeah. So I started off with Axe Capital, actually.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's not on your LinkedIn.
Well, I was only there for like a very short amount of time. Like I wasn't even there, I would say, for longer than a month.
Right.
So I don't like to put it on there, right? This doesn't make sense. So when I started there, I remember I was speaking with this lovely recruiter, and she's a very good friend of mine. I'm still very good friends of hers. Her name's Chloe, and she recruited
Sullivan.
me. Yes, amazing, lovely. She's just beautiful soul, and she brought me in, and I thought it was okay. This is like super interesting, but the Axe Capital culture was so different. than what I had experienced. You know, it was very strict. You were almost like a dog on a leash, and I just didn't really know how I felt about it. And I got put into Emirates Living, okay? And so I was stuck.
Great area.
Oh, but for a baby chicken in Dubai, and that is, I mean,
they saw something in you, obviously.
No, they just wanted to they just wanted to add it. And they were like, you know what, let's throw her in there. You know what it was? They probably saw that I had experience. Yeah. They knew it was going to be really hard. And they said, okay, fine, let's just shove her in there. Yeah. I think so. But I got stuck in doing Meadows. Okay. Meadows and Hatan. And like, this is a 20-plus-year-old community. There's brokers that have been doing this since day one. Like they got their roots planted in there. It was hard, but it was also really good. And it actually ended up being a blessing, because what is a part of Emirates Living is Emirates Hills. Okay. Right?
Yeah. So, to be honest, when you said Emirates Living, I was thinking of Emirates Hills, but it's a wider area, isn't it?
Yeah. So Emirates Living, right? It's full master
Meadow,
community.
Springs, Lakes.
Exactly. Hatan, whatever.
Yeah. My mistake.
Yes. And then you have that Emirates Hills. So I loved Emirates Hills. I thought it was so cool, but they wouldn't let me touch it at Axe. They wouldn't let me do it. And I remember from like researching before I came over, Emirates Hills caught my eye because I was working in Holland Park. And Holland Park is known for having these really big, beautiful, gorgeous homes.
Sure.
So
unique ones.
Exactly. Yeah. And I just understood that market a little bit. So I thought, okay, I can just put the knowledge and do it in Emirates Hills. Why not? So I had decided Axe is not going to be for me. Like I said, I wasn't there for very long, and I did some research, and I said, boom, I want to go to Phoenix Homes. And that's where I ended up after Axe Capital.
And why did you want to go to Phoenix Homes?
So I was doing some research, and I was trying to figure out, okay, Emirates Hills, this seems great. I understand how hyper competitive this market is and how this is like, I'm not in Dubai anymore. I'm not in Canada anymore. I need to have a strategy going into Emirates Hills. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Like, it's just simply not going to work. So I thought to myself, okay, if I start calling and contacting the owners of Emirates Hills, right, and I don't have a track record, why do you want to work with me? Like, I don't think my accent's going to work here when there's 200 plus nationalities, right? So I thought, let me go find who the big bad wolf is, who is the guy that's, dominating Emirates Hills. Let me go find him.
Who's the king of Emirates Hills?
Who's the king of Emirates Hills? Let me go find him. I'll go do all the, calls. I can do the calls, and then I'll organize the meetings, get him to come. Boom. That'll be that.
Brilliant strategy. Brilliant. Right? Yeah.
And so that's when I decided to go to Phoenix Homes.
Okay. Yeah. Because Miles Bush was headed up Phoenix Homes, and he was the king that you were talking about.
Yes.
Yeah. How long were you there?
I was there for a good amount of time. Yeah. I was there for a good amount of time. And one thing that I loved about being at Phoenix Homes was that there wasn't a lot of people that were focused on Emirates Hills. So I got a lot of the, I guess you could say, the attention. And there was only one other individual that was also focused on it. And it just worked so well. And Phoenix also has like a really nice dynamic where, you have that freedom as well and the autonomy. So I felt...
It's for more experienced brokers generally, isn't it? I mean, you're a bit of an exception, but that's the idea. A bit similar to eXp up to a point.
But I was an exception. That's the thing. Like, I shouldn't have been at Phoenix Homes, right? I was baby chicken. I was new.
Yeah, people see something in you, don't they? They like the way you interview, come across, and we'll give it a go, and it pays off for them.
I mean, it's worked so far. It's worked so far.
Yeah. And that's, of course, where you met Michael Magee, who we'll get onto in a moment or two.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he brought you to eXp, and obviously a friend of mine. So how long were you at Phoenix Homes, and what made you move on from there?
Yeah, so I think I was at Phoenix Homes for... was it like maybe like a year and a half or a bit over this?
Decent amount of time by Dubai standards.
A decent amount of time. And so then after that, what had happened was I was like, okay, Emirates Hills, amazing. This is really cool. Got an exclusive. I think it was like in Sector H, something. It was like 39 million. It was so cool. But it was based off the strategy, right? Like, I cannot say that I did everything on my own. Like, it was a team effort to make it work, and it was really good. It was really tough market. And it's not that I decided to give up, but you have to remember, I'm here in Dubai. It's my first year or so, coming into it. I'm learning, I'm exploring, I'm trying to figure it out. Emirates Hills is not something that you just can sell every week, right?
Sure.
And I felt like, okay, Emirates Hills, this is great. I want to come back to you. I've had, I feel like I've had good success there. I want to come back to you. I want to figure it out, but I need to have something that's a little bit more fast paced. And also I was missing my international clients. Like, I want to work with the Americans. I want to work with the Canadians. I want to work.
Well, you're good at it. So.
I felt like it would have made more sense to go back to my roots rather than just trying to totally do something completely brand new.
Yeah. So that's what you did. And did you do that while staying at Phoenix?
So I did try to tap in to my UK clients, my Canadian clients. I tried to do it the best that I could, but I was still also trying to learn the Dubai market. And so I just felt like, because I was so focused on ultra luxury properties, it wasn't really fitting into what my clients were interested in.
Sure.
So it didn't make sense, right? And what my clients started becoming more interested in was off-plan investments. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So did it make sense then for you to move brokerages or?
Well, I really didn't want to move. I didn't want to leave because, like I said, I was experiencing something that I kind of, got, like, it was my strategy and it worked. Why would I leave?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I got approached by a company and they had said, hey, listen, we are doing international roadshows. We're going out, we're traveling, we're doing all this stuff. We're going to Canada, we're going to go to America. And I thought, oh, Canada?
Amazing. Yeah.
I can go see my family. We're going to UK as well. UK? Yeah. I love the UK. I was there. That could be really great. What are you guys doing though? Oh, off-plan investments. Oh, that's so cool.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah, and I don't know anything about it. So then I thought, okay, done. I'm going to go.
Yeah, yeah. And who was this? Which company was this?
This company was called One Investments.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really good.
And how did it work out? You did the road shows, you enjoyed them?
Did the road shows.
Got experience?
Yes, got experience. It was, like I had previously mentioned, it was totally, I didn't know what to expect. It was super challenging. I threw myself into it and it was career changing because it taught me so much. I got to go to, my client's country, go meet them, go sit with them in their city and talk to them over a table and try to get them closed. Like, it was just such a unique experience.
Fantastic job for a young person. You've obviously got experience by now, but you're really making it work. And yeah, so you're going to Canada, US, yes. UK?
Yeah, so at the time, I was just focused on Canada and America. I wasn't going to UK. The company does go to the UK, but I was just stuck on to the teams that were going to go to Canada and America. So we did 9 different cities, I think. We did Montreal. That was just the one Canadian city, and then the rest were in America. At the time, though, and this is something I've definitely learned when it comes to real estate, and again, like I said, I'm delusional for the universe, is that your environment and your mental plays such a big part on your success.
Yep.
And at the time I was going through, like, I'm not going to get crazy into it, but I was probably in one of like the worst place mentally I could have possibly been in when I was at this company, when I was at One Investments. But no one would know. I'd walk in the office happy, smiling, everything's good. But I was, when I would leave, I was dying inside. It was awful.
You can only hide that for a certain period of time.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And so I feel like when I went out and did the road shows, because I had all this personal stuff playing literally, it wasn't even in the back of my head. It was like shoving itself to the front. It was so hard for me to like focus, concentrate, do what I need to do, learn, understand. Like it played a difficult part. So I did it. I went out, I had an amazing time, experienced a lot. And then it was after that I had came back from all the road shows. I remember I was speaking with Michael. And Michael's like, how'd it go? What was it like? And I was like, Michael, it's so cool.
Yeah.
I was like, it's so cool. It's amazing. And, I was going through some challenging things. My challenging things are done with. I kind of want to go again. I think it would be cool.
Great.
I think it would be cool to go again. And he was like, okay, let's see.
Is this when the two of you decided to do stuff together, work-wise?
It's funny because Michael has been planting the seed with eXp, right, for quite some time.
Yeah.
And I just kind of like pushed it off. Like I was dealing with so much stuff. I didn't want to talk about eXp or what it had to offer, any of that. I wasn't focused on it. But the conversation definitely started to happen.
Yeah. Because there's two things going on here, isn't there? There's you joining eXp, and also you working more closely with Michael.
Yeah.
And you've just done a show. You've just been to London, is that right?
So my last city in America was San Diego.
Oh, sorry, going back to...
Oh, sorry.
But you've just done a roadshow with Michael in London.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. We did just do that. Yeah. But
I was jumping on.
No, that's okay. So where are we now?
Yeah. So you've decided to work with Michael. You've decided to come across to eXp.
Yes.
And you've just done a roadshow in London.
Yes. So basically what had happened was I said to Michael, look, I can clearly see that doing a roadshow, it requires a team and a lot of experience, a lot of planning, a lot of logistics, and also like in a way, like, yes, I actually wouldn't say a lot of money. I actually really wouldn't say a lot of money. That's something I learned. Roadshows actually are not that expensive to run, especially when you're on the eXp model. It's not that expensive to run. So that's why we decided, okay, cool, let's try to go do something of the likes in London. I wouldn't say, though, that the way me and Michael did it was the typical roadshow event style.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what I find interesting, because the two of you do work well together, don't you?
I think so.
And you do the social media together and you bounce off each other, and you can do that with eXp. Yeah. And you've got the complete freedom to do as much work as you want, as little work as you want, work wherever you want in the world, doing these roadshows, whatever, earning a much higher commission than virtually all the other real estate companies pay.
100%. Yeah. I mean, well, that's the thing, right? Is that, like I said, if I wasn't with eXp, I don't think roadshows would financially make sense. They just simply wouldn't. Like, you need a company to take you to go send you to do them, right? But because we're making such good comms, it just, you can justify it. And also,
I know you've only done one so far, but you will do probably more in London or the UK, Canada, US. We've got 60-odd thousand agents in the US that you can tap into. I think 6,000 something in Canada, big numbers anyway, over 700 in the UK. And we're rapidly expanding into so many different countries. Yep. The opportunity with the eXp is huge, isn't it?
Oh, it's crazy. And I remember when I got offered it, this would have been, 2018, 2019, I can't remember. This is when eXp was coming to light. I didn't really understand.
So this is back in Canada.
Yes,
now.
This is back in Canada. I didn't really understand I did understand the full model, but everybody was like, no, it's a pyramid scheme. It's this, it's that, right?
They don't get it. They don't put the hours in to understand it.
Well, because it was so new at the time, right? Yeah. Remember, this was not cloud brokerage. What is this? Like, you go to Remax, you put your license, or, you go to Sotheby's, or you go to wherever, Keller Williams, whatever. That's what you do. And so it was just so interesting to see eXp bring this. And then when Michael started explaining, listen, this is how eXp has evolved. This is what they're doing now. This is the structure, okay? You're going to get full autonomy, full freedom. If you don't want to go to a meeting, if you don't want to show up in the office, if you don't want a manager or a director or anyone telling you what to do, eXp. And if you want to make up to 100% commission, eXp. So I thought, okay, twist my arm. And, he kind of explained everything, and I thought, okay, that could be cool. I don't know. And he goes, Nat, but let's do this. Let's go and do our own campaign. Let's go do our own roadshow. You've got the experience, and we'll do it with eXp, okay? We don't need to close 10 deals. We simply just need to close a couple because we're making the good commission. Yeah. And I thought, you're right.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
One deal that I closed outside of my traditional brokerage is like the equivalent of 2-3 that I would have had to, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I thought, that's great.
And the other great thing is he's financially incentivized to bring you on. People in the future will want to work with you. You're financially incentivized to help them without having to manage them and people that they bring in. It's I think eXp will go to #1 real estate agency in Dubai in the next 5 or 6 years when more and more people understand the model.
Absolutely.
It is trying to be copied here, but they don't have the international reach that we've got.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Because that's really brilliant that you bring it up. When me and Michael, because we just went to London, right, to host this event, where did we work out of? We went to one of the partnered offices that's a part of, it's not an eXp office. It's a partnership that we can use all of these offices all around the world.
Worldwide, yeah.
And then I thought, I'm going to Canada. Let me go check in my city. There's like 6 I can use in my city.
Really?
It's amazing.
There's about 8 in Dubai.
It's wild. And then, I'm thinking, okay, what if I want to go to Miami? Oh, there's a bunch there. Okay, what about this country? What about this country? What about this country? And it's just everywhere.
I know.
It's everywhere.
Yeah. Exciting times for so many different reasons.
It's awesome.
Before I let you go, let's just quickly talk about Quintessentially as well, because you've kind of linked in with them.
Yeah.
Again, it's through Michael, isn't it?
Through Michael. So basically when we first kind of started everything, I said, okay, Michael, it's going to be eXp. He goes, not totally. So what do you mean? He goes, well, I have the license for Quintessentially Estates in Dubai. And I said, okay, what is that? And basically, Michael explained, so Quintessentially is a concierge company. It's a global concierge company. I think it's the largest as well. And it's for high net worth, ultra high net worth individuals that are looking for white glove, very discreet service. And so Michael and myself, we manage the asset management arm for Dubai. So he said, listen, we're not a brokerage. We're just managing, these clients' property needs, but we're going to partner with eXp to make the synergy work. And so that is essentially Quintessentially.
Yeah, and it's worked well for him, and I think the two of you together, it will continue to do well. Do you want to touch on social media?
Yeah,
because you really strong on LinkedIn. I don't know how many reactions you got to a recent post, but was it 4 figures?
It was something crazy.
And why did that post work?
So LinkedIn has always been a great place for me. I loved going on LinkedIn. I make amazing connections through there. Actually, one of the last deals I did came from LinkedIn. It was awesome. And one thing I noticed about LinkedIn was everybody posts very obviously professional things when they're, as you should, right? You can't post bikini pictures and crazy clubbing outfits. Like, that's not the goal. But I thought, you know what? I have so many sides to me. Like, yes, I'm a really professional person, but I've also got sleeves of tattoos, right? I think I have like maybe 40 plus hours of ink on my whole body. And I was out with Michael. We were going to a listing appointment. It was some beautiful villa on the Palm. So Michael takes some pictures of me. I didn't have my blazer on, and we took these gorgeous pictures. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to post that on LinkedIn.
Give it a go. See what happens.
Again, just roll the dice. So I posted it on LinkedIn, and I made the title. I can't remember what it was. It was like they told me my tattoos were unprofessional.
Right.
And then I just went boom, went at it. I would like to say it went viral. I couldn't believe the comments and the messages and the personal messages. I had people WhatsApping me.
Yeah, people get emotional about that stuff, don't they? They then comment.
Stories.
The algorithm loves it because people are commenting on comments.
Yeah.
And loads of likes, loads of loves, loads of laughs, Yeah,
I had one hater.
You're going to get
100%. He really dug into me.
But he's actually helping the algorithm, isn't he?
Oh, it's great. It's fine. I'm okay because more people messaged me saying, "Screw that guy. Don't worry." Blah blah. Basically, what he was trying to
girl.
say. Yeah. What he was trying to say was, because you didn't go to Harvard, you're not successful. There's no school that you've named that is successful. You've achieved nothing. Like, what you're claiming you've achieved actually doesn't count. That's basically what he wrote. And he's like, your outfit's distasteful and your tattoos unprofessional.
Yeah, he's got problems, that guy.
So I was like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant. And then you were on Instagram as well, and you're about to revamp that.
Yes. Yeah. So I've decided I'm going to completely redo my social media branding, how I'm doing it. I want to create something that's more cinematic. That's my idea. I want to do something that is a little bit more explainer video, but very cinematic. So you'll see, it's something different. I have an amazing team, so I think they'll be able to sort it out for me and make it work. But I'm going to completely just redo, and that's going to filter over to LinkedIn, to YouTube.
So watch this space.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, the strategy that you put across, you are combining a lot of things, and one of them is really good strategy. That's been a theme throughout, when you're in Canada, UK, Dubai. That's worked really well. Yep. I think we're pretty much out of time, but I've really enjoyed hearing your story today. Thank you so much for coming on, and we'll get you back maybe in 6 months, 12 months.
Dad, let's do it. Let's
see how it's going.
Good.
Thanks very much, Natalie.
Yeah, thank you.